love mud. Well, doesn't everybody love mud? A box core is a contraption that consists of a box on a frame, and when it's deployed, it goes down, and when it hits the ocean floor, the actual box is able to sink into the sediment, and then when it's lifted out, there's a triggering mechanism that releases a spade that goes down and covers the bottom of the box. And so what you get is a box full of the mud, and it stays undisturbed, so it keeps the layering that it had at the ocean floor, and we're able to look at the different layers for different organisms. All the things that are living in the mud are very important to all of the things living on the mud, because that's what they eat. A lot of the infauna, the critters that live in the mud, they're eating kind of the leftover nutrients. They're eating the things that are falling to the ocean floor that the other critters have missed. And so they serve a really important purpose of just recycling those nutrients to become food for other trophic levels. When the boxcar gets on the deck is when our real work begins. We do 3 replicates at each station. We remove the box and put on a fresh box and redeploy it. And then we go through and start dealing with the samples. So depending on the depth and the type of substrate, we end up with anywhere from 20 to 40 centimeters of mud, but we're just actually taking that top 10 centimeters. And so we take that and sieve it in a 300 micron mesh sieve. And 300 microns is pretty small, so we're keeping most of the small critters still. Then we also end up with any types of little pebbles or shells or anything like that. And then that's all that we keep. We put those in containers with formalin, and then those get boxed up, and that's what I'll be looking at home. We're trying to look at the community structure of the Chukchi Borderlands. The benthic team was comprised of the box coring and the trawling, and then the ROV also did benthic dives. And so with those 3 very different methods, we're able to come up with a bigger picture of what's going on. So the box core is actually taking a cookie cutter chunk of the sediment. It's a 1/4 meter squared, so it's not a very big area, and we're studying what's living in the sediment. And so although we do get some stuff that's living on top, we're actually able to look at what those critters are that are burrowing into the sediment, because they're really important. They keep oxygen flowing into that top layer. Once you get down to those lower layers and those worms aren't down there burrowing, it just becomes very anoxic, and there's not really very much life down there. So we're looking at what's in the mud and also looking at different nutrients that are in the sediment. And then the trawl, they're doing a larger area and just scooping all the critters off that are living on the bottom. And so they're able to look at a broader scale what's living down there. And then the ROV is really neat because it's able to actually cruise around and see what those animals are doing in their natural habitat. It's a lot of mud. It's an insane amount of mud. Everybody calls us the Mud Girls because we end up completely covered in mud head to toe, and then the whole deck is just covered in mud. They love us here. But thankfully we've had lots of help, and usually there's a bunch of people that are willing to come out and help us, and they make it fun. It's a good time. We have a good time. What's better than playing in the mud? I mean, really.